Okay. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, or whatever time you're watching this video. So this time let us have a review of your midterm examination for the applied economics. But before we proceed to the review proper, let us first discuss the structure of the examination. So for your examination, it will be 30 items, midterm examination. So same as before, I will be providing you the test questionnaire in which you will be instructed to write the letter of the correct answer in the space provided before the number. But then, I will going to change the structure. So you are no longer going to write that the answer in the space provided, but rather I will going to give you a separate answer sheet in which you are going to shade the letter of the correct answer. So you heard me right. So you are just going to shade the letter of the correct answer. So since you are going to shade, so I will remind you to please bring with you your pencil because I will not allow you to answer the answer sheet using your ball pen because when you use ball pen, it will leave a permanent mark. So I will going to instruct the proctor that uh, you will be allowed only to take the exam once you have your pencil, as well as the folder that was instructed to you by your advisor a long time ago. So again, hi, you are not going to use ball pen in answering the answer sheet that I will be providing. Okay, so for the coverage of our midterm examination, I have already given you the competencies, the TOS, in which you have to focus on. So we will be covering chapters 3, 4, and 5. In chapter 3, we will cover labor market, um, the uh, the currency, as well as household market. For the chapter 4, we will cover Porter's 5 forces, the different industries, and then identifying business opportunities, the SWOT, and pest analysis. So for the chapter 5, it will be the social impact study. So those are the things that you need to study for the upcoming examination on 19 or 20. So I have already given you the schedule for that one. So now let us proceed to our first um, topic that we will cover. The first one is okay. The product and services. Okay, for the product and services, let us first differentiate the difference between product and services. So when we talk about product, as you all know, product is tangible. When we talk about tangible, that is physical, meaning nahahawakan mo po yan. For example, the slippers. Slippers is manufactured by the company and then will be sold into the sari-sari store or other business establishments. And once you bought it, you can physically touch the slipper. You could even wear the slipper. So that is an example of a product. Lahat po ng mga nahahawakan at nabibili natin is an example of product. But what about services? So when we talk about services, this is something you offer to your customer, to your the customer. You are going to offer this one, your skills, your talents, your time, your effort. In exchange, you will be compensated. You will be paid a sum of money, could either be the sum of money or if you are working in an if you have an employer, so you will be receiving your wage. So that is as services. And this one, product and services, we have tackled this one on chapter 4, lesson number 2. The identifying different industries. So that is the difference between the two. Now, so ganito po ang question for this topic. So this is not the actual question but somehow similar yung structure kung paano ko ginawa yung question as well as kung paano ko ginawa yung mga choices. Okay. Example. So, hindi po natin masyadong makikita. Let me just move that one. Okay. Observers, wait, I think there is something wrong with the questionnaire. Let me just edit for a while. So what seems to be the wrong? Okay, so here's the question. A student visits several businesses in the community. She observes that a grocery store sells canned goods while a computer shop repairs damaged laptops. Which statement correctly identifies the output of these businesses? A. The grocery store offers a service while the computer shop offers a product. Letter B. Both businesses offer products because customers pay for them. Letter C. The grocery store offers a product while the computer shop offers a service. Or letter D. Both businesses offer services because they satisfy customer. Now, if we are going to answer this one, we need to consider first the definition of product and services. As what I have said, when we talk about product, that is something you can bought, you can touch physically. While services, it is somehow offering the service, your skills, your talents. So if you're going to check the different choices, letter A, the grocery store offers a service while the computer shop offers a product. So basing on the stem or the question, it is stated here that the grocery store sells canned goods. Now, ang canned goods po ba ay nahahawakan? Yes, nahahawakan po natin siya. So, ibig sabihin, isa siyang produkto and it is not a service. Meaning, X agad si letter A. But how about the other one? Computer shop offers a product. So, product ba ang ino-offer ni computer shop? So, it is stated here, it repairs damaged laptops. So, if you are able to repair damaged laptops, meaning that is a skill. Now, you are rendering your skill, and that is not a product because your skill, that is intangible. Meaning, letter A is obviously wrong. How about letter B? Both businesses offer products because customers pay for them. So, product ba? Lahat ang the grocery and the computer shop? Of course, no. We all knew that grocery store is selling canned goods, meaning that is a product. But the computer shop is rendering service, offering his skills in repairing the laptops. So that is a service. So the statement here, both businesses offer product, that is wrong. So meaning letter B is wrong. How about letter C? The grocery store offers a product while the computer shop offers a service. Okay, somehow correct because since canned goods, that is a product, while the skills of repairing the laptop, that is a service. So, okay, pwede siya. How about the letter D? Let us first check the letter D. So, both businesses offer service because they satisfy customer needs. So, is it necessary ba kapag nasatisfy natin yung needs ng ating customer, is it necessary na service na agad? Okay, so hindi siya pwede. So, it's somehow vague. So, the safest choice that we can have is letter C. And that is the correct answer because going back when we talk about product, that is tangible, nahahawakan. And it's said here that grocery store offers a product, which is good because canned goods is a tangible product. It is a physical product na hahawakan po natin. So that is a product. Whereas, ang computer shop, it offers skills in repairing the damaged laptops. So that is in a form of service. So our answer is, final answer again is letter C. Okay, another one. Okay. During a community livelihood fair, visitors can buy handmade bags, have their hair styled, or purchase locally produced snacks. Which of the following represent a service offered during the event? Oh, going back again, when we talk about service, that is a skill, a talent that you offer in exchange for a compensation. So, let us have letter A. Letter A, a handmade woven bag. So meaning, a handmade woven bag, is it tangible or intangible? So handmade woven bag is a tangible. So meaning, hindi siya service. It is a product. How about letter D? A bamboo-made storage box. So storage box, kapag binili mo yan, mahahawakan mo yan, magagamit mo. So meaning that is a physical product. How about letter C? A pack of locally produced cookies. So, ang cookies ba nahahawakan natin? Yes, of course. Nakakain pa nga natin, di ba? So, that is a product. That is not a service. How about letter B? A hairstyling session provided by a salon worker. So, of course, a hairstylist, they have this unique skills in which they help their customers by styling their hair, cutting their hair, so that they will look good. So, that is a skill, and that is intangible. So meaning, out of the 4 choices, the one that is a service is only letter B. So our answer is letter B. Next. So those are the sample questions for our first content topic, which is the what we call that one, product and services. Now let us have the factors affecting the demand and labor. So actually, this is factors affecting demand labor or the labor demand. So we have identified 6, if I'm not mistaken. We have the first one. Ano nga yun? Sige, just review your book because your copy because I forgot. But the thing is that it is included in our discussion. Sige. Let us first the sample question. Okay. This is number 3. Again this is not the actual question, but this is somehow a mock-up or somehow similar structure of the actual na question. So, number 3, the demand for public transportation increases when the price of gasoline rises sharply. Which factor primarily explains the increase in demand? So before you answer, you need to understand first the question so that it will be easy for you to comprehend and to select the best answer. So according to the STEM or the question, so there is now an increase, what do you call that one? So there is an increase in demand for public transportation. So nagtaas yung demand sa public transportation, the buses, the jeepneys, etc., etc. So nagtaas daw ang demand nito because nagmahal yung presyo ng gasolina. The question, what factor primarily explains the increase in demand? So anong factor ba ang naging rason kung bakit tumaas ang demand for public transportation? So let us have letter D. Retailers increase the quantity of gasoline supplied. So, yung mga retailers daw, tumaas daw yung quantity or dumami daw yung quantity ng gasolina na sinusupply nila. Which is also true because if you are going to consider the law of supply, once the price of the certain product increases, the supply also increases. Kaya upward slope yung ating, if we're going to, what we call that, graph that one, that is an upward slope. How about letter C? But that is not the correct answer, ha? How about letter C? Workers requested higher salaries from transportation firms. So, medyo malayo siya if we are going to if we have understood the question, medyo malayo po siya because the question is, ano ba yung factor na naging dahilan kung bakit tumaas yung demand ng public transportation? Is it because yung mga workers of the public transportation, kagaya ng driver ng bus, ay tumaas yung salary? Is it the reason? Okay. How about letter B? Producers increase the number of vehicles available. So producers daw, yung mga gumagawa ng mga vehicle, dinadamihan daw po nila yung mga product nila. For example, the motorcycle, the cars. So kapag tumaas daw yung, ang naging dahilan daw kung bakit tumaas yung demand ng public transportation is marami na ang available na vehicle na ginawa ng mga producers. So is it the correct answer? Okay. How about letter A? Consumer shifted toward a substitute for a private transportation. Okay. So let us analyze this one. So let us go back to our discussion on substitute product. When we talk about substitute product, ito yung mga alternative or pwedeng pamalit natin sa mga produkto na nakasanayan natin. For example, the coffee. So, let us have, gatas na lang pala. Let us have the Bear Brand and the Birch Tree. So, nakasanayan natin po is yung Bear Brand. But then, nagtaas ang presyo ni Bear Brand. So, what will we do? So, we are going to shift into its substitute product, which is the Birch Tree. Similar sila, but then, iba yung product, iba yung brand. So, that is an example of substitute. So, we choose the substitute if we can get the best value compared to the original or the usual na produkto na binibili natin. So in this situation, since nagmahal daw yung gasolina, so it will be a burden kapag mas malaki yung mababayaran nila kapag they choose to use their personal na mga vehicles kasi mahal yung gasolina. Whereas kapag nag-commute sila, mas makakatipid sila kasi konti lang yung pamasahe compared dun sa kung bibili ka talaga ng gasolina. So that is a substitute. That is a good substitute. Now, if we are going to choose between A, B, C, and D, obviously, the one na nakahit ng question is only the letter A. And that is our correct answer. So, ganun po tayo kung aatake tayo ng ganitong mga question. If it is situational, you need to consider you need to analyze first the stem before you proceed to the question. Kasi pag naintindihan mo po yung question, madali lang sa'yo na i-analyze at i-connect yung mga different na choices. Okay. So next, let us have another example. So a construction company offers attractive salaries but still has difficulty finding qualified electricians. Which labor factor must most likely explain the situation? So the situation is that there is a construction company in which naghahanap po sila ng trabahante. And yet, even though mataas na yung sweldo nila, but still, nahihirapan pa rin silang mag-hire ng mga qualified na mga electricians. So, ano ba yung labor factor na nakaka-apekto or most likely going to explain kung bakit nahihirapan yung construction company to find qualified electricians kahit na mataas yung sweldo? Okay. Choice letter A, limited supply of workers with specialized skills. Pwede. How about letter B, excess demand for construction materials? Okay, pwede ba to? So, we are talking about the factor kung bakit nahihirapang mag-hire ang mga construction company kahit mataas yung sweldo. So, mataas ba yung demand? How about letter C, increased availability of imported equipment? Okay, so this one is medyo malayo po siya sa ating STEM. So, X na kaagad yan. How about letter D, declining interest rates on business loan? So, we're talking about the labor factor. So, ano bang kinalaman ni business loan dito? So, X na agad sa letter C and D. So, we have now only letter A and B. So, that technique is what we call elimination. So, kapag aatake kayo ng mga questions, you need to understand first the stem or the question, and then you analyze, and then you read the question. At kapag medyo somehow meron kang nakikitang mali na agad sa isang choice, you can eliminate that one. So that is called an elimination process. So you can eliminate directly kapag nakita mo na hindi naman siya connected dyan, or kapag obviously wrong yung answer, so you can eliminate that question para konti na lang yung pagpipilian mo. So in our question here, obviously, letters C and D is wrong, so we can directly eliminate that one. So we will have only two choices, letters A and B. Now, so going back to the question, ano bang option dito ang nakahit or sakto ang iyahang respond to the question in the STEM? Okay. So obviously, nakikita rin natin dito sa ating question, has difficulty finding qualified electricians, meaning there is a certain qualification that they are looking for. Now, ano ba yung somehow connected kapag sinabi natin qualified or qualification? Of course, it is somehow related to specialized skills. So meaning if you have that specialized skills, you are qualified. So, saan ba yung tamang sagot dito? Of course, that is letter A, limited supply of workers with specialized skills. Okay. So I hope naintindihan po natin. So now let us proceed to the next subtopic. That's the supply and demand in labor, currency, and then the housing market. Okay. So without further ado, let us have now the sample questions. Okay, number 5. Technology company needs to hire more software developers after receiving many new projects. What is most likely effect on the labor market? So, sinabi po dito, isang technology company ay nangangailangan ng maraming software developers kasi marami silang project. So, ano kaya ang potential na epekto nito sa labor market? Again, we are looking for the question that will somehow relate to the question, the result. Since nangangailangan daw sila ng maraming software developer kasi maraming project, ano daw ba ang magiging epekto nito? So that is the question. So these are our choices. Letter A, labor demand increases, creating greater competition among employers for skilled workers. Letter B, labor demand decreases because more firms need software developers. Next, letter C, labor supply decreases because companies are hiring more workers. Or letter D, labor supply increases automatically because business needs, that is need more employees. Okay. Now, probably, since mataas ang pangangailangan or meaning maraming kailangan na software developers kasi nga maraming project, is of course, ano ba yung magiging direct effect nito? Of course, the labor demand will increase. So ano ba dyan ang mayroong increase? So, only choices letter A and letter D. So meaning, hindi siya magdi-decrease. Bakit siya magdi-decrease? Tumataas nga yung demand kasi kailangan nila ng maraming software developers. So X na kaagad si letter B, and letter C. Now, letter A, labor demand increases creating greater competition among employers for skilled workers. So, is it possible na kapag mataas yung demand ng certain na job na yan, ay magkakaroon daw ng competition among the firms. Ano nga yung mga firms? Diba? The demanders, diba? Sila yung mga firms. So, magkakaroon daw ng competition because they will be needing the skilled workers. Or letter D, the labor supply increases automatically because business need more employees. So, tataas ba yung supply? What do you think is the answer? That is letter. So, I will give you time so you can pause the video. Sige, for you to answer, to analyze this one. Okay. So, of course, may mga word dyan na naka-wrong. Ano ba yung word na yun? That is actually letter D. Ano bang word ang nakapamali dyan? The word na naging rason kung bakit mali. Of course, that is the word automatically. So meaning, kapag ba nagtaas yung, let us say, nagtaas yung demand for teaching teaching na mga teaching related works. So automatic ba tataas yung demand ng mga teachers? Ay ng supply ng mga teachers? Of course no. Kahit hindi pa nagtaas yung demand for teachers, marami na po tayong supply ng mga teachers. So meaning, hindi porket nagtaas yung demand for software developers, automatic tataas din ang supply nito. Because kahit hindi pa nagtaas po yung demand ng software developers, marami na po tayong supply ng mga software developers. So, hindi siya nag-increase automatically dahil lang nagtaas ang demand nito. So, meaning, the safest answer for this one is letter A. And that is the correct answer. Bakit? Since in demand na sila, pag in demand na yung mga certain na mga labors, ibig sabihin, pag-aagawan na po sila ng mga firms kasi kailangan nila ng mga skilled na mga workers. So, meaning, there will now be a competition among the demanders or the firms. So, our answer is letter A. Next. Okay, another one. In the Philippine peso, if the Philippine peso depreciates against the US dollar, a local company that imports computer equipment will most likely experience which effects? Now, let us go back to our discussion on appreciation and depreciation. Kailan ba nangyayari ang appreciation? Nangyayari ang appreciation kapag tumaas ang value ng isang currency. For example, the dollar and then the peso. So before, the dollar is equivalent to 59 pesos. But now, $1 is equivalent to 60 pesos. Meaning, nagtaas ang value ni dollar. So meaning, nag-appreciate si dollar. How about depreciate? It is the opposite of appreciate. Meaning, kapag bumaba ang value ng isang currency, so it also means that that certain currency depreciated. So, kagaya ng example natin kanina, from $1 is equal to 59 peso to $1 is equal to 60 pesos. Meaning, nagtaas yung value ni dollar kasi mas nagmahal siya. Meaning, bumaba ang value ni peso. Kapag bumaba ang value ni peso, that is now what we call depreciation. Okay? So, I hope naalala nyo pa ang ating discussion on appreciation and depreciation. Now, the question is, ano daw yung mangyayari kapag nag-depreciate yung US dollar, Philippine peso is nag-depreciate daw. So, bumaba yung value ni peso over dollars. Ano ba yung magiging effect nito sa mga company na nag-i-import ng mga computer equipment? Okay. So, let us have the choices. Letter A, imported equipment becomes cheaper because the peso has more value. Again na, depreciate. Ibig sabihin, bumaba ang value. So, letter A, wrong na kaagad yan. How about letter B? Imported equipment remains unchanged because exchange rate do not affect prices. So, kapag may nakita po kayong mga ganito, do not affect. So, that is automatic. You can consider that one as wrong. So, bakit ba siya i-question kung wala naman siyang effect? So, certainly that is wrong. How about letter C? Imported equipment becomes more expensive because more pesos are needed to buy the dollars. It could be. How about letter D? Imported equipment becomes cheaper because foreign goods have lower production cost. Is it correct? Napag-usapan ba natin dito ang production cost? Okay. Let us go back again to our discussion. Diba, kapag tumaas ang value ni dollar, meaning nag-appreciate siya, ibig sabihin, yung peso natin is bababa ang value. Ibig sabihin, we will be needing more peso in order for us to acquire mga imported goods. For example, yung $1, let us say, you can buy 10 pieces of clothes with let us say $30. Meron ka ng 6 pieces of gold, 6 pieces of clothes, meaning tag $5. Now, since nagmahal yung dollar, nag-appreciate yung dollar, kasi bumaba nga yung value ng peso natin, di ba? Yung peso ang nag-depreciate. Ibig sabihin, we will be needing more than $30. We will be needing, ano ba yun? Sige, balik muna tayo. So, 30 pesos is equivalent to, ilan ba siya in 30 times 60. So, ilan ba siya? So, probably that is 1/8, if I'm not mistaken. So, that is 1/8. Tama ba? Ano ba yan? Ang bubo ko talaga sa math. So, let us say 1/8. So, 1/8 lang ba? Okay. Let us first compute 30 and 60. So, 0, 0, 0, 18. So, yeah, that is 1/8. 1,800 pesos ang kailangan mo. So, you can buy 10 pieces of clothes. But then, nagmahal po. See? Sino ang nagmahal? Si dollar. Ibig sabihin, hindi na enough yung 1,800 pesos mo to buy that certain 10 products. You will be needing more. Kasi nga, nagtaas yung value ni dollar. So, ano bang magiging epekto nito? Magiging mura ba ang mga bilihin natin na mga imported or magmamahal? Of course, magmamahal. Kasi mahal din yung bili nila from the other country. Bakit mahal yung bili nila from the other country? Because nagtaas ang value ni dollar, bumaba ang value ni peso. So, meaning, kapag may nakita ka dyan na magiging cheaper daw siya, automatically, that is wrong. Kasi, magmamahal nga, di ba? Kasi, tumaas ang value ni dollar. So, alin ba dyan ang nagsasabi na magmamahal daw yung mga imported na equipments? So, that is only letter C. And that is actually our correct answer. Letter C po. Next question. Okay. For a while lang ha. So, nag-chat si Gian kay ang libro ihatag. Mayasan gid mo tanan pag di ninyo mabalik ang libro. Okay, number 7. A city experiences rapid population growth while the number of available houses remains unchanged. What is most likely outcome? Ano ba yung mangyayari? Kapag dumami daw yung nagdi-demand ng bahay, but then, as we all knew, it will take time bago matapos ang isang supply ng bahay. Kaya nga 'di ba sa ating graph, the supply for the housing market is naka-vertical, not to the left, not to the right. Bakit nga naka-vertical? Kasi it will take time before makagawa ng another na housing product. Kasi matagal naman talaga matapos yung mga establishment kagaya ng bahay. Diba? It will take at least minimum of 1 year for you to finish your house. If gawa sa concrete. Pero pag gawa naman sa kahoy, pwede nang siyang matapos ng ilang buwan. But then we're talking about here those concrete na mga houses. So ano ba yung mangyayari? Kasi matagal yung supply at parami na yung nagdidemand ng house. Is it letter A? Housing prices fall because demand becomes unstable. Magiging mura ba yung mga house? Next, housing prices rise because demand exceeds supply. Pwede. How about letter C? Housing prices remain constant despite population growth. Narito na naman po tayo sa parang walang tamang sagot. So that is still wrong. Again ha, kapag nasa choices nga, parang sinasabi niya na walang tamang sagot, that is already wrong. So bakit pat natin siya ilalagay sa ating question if wala namang tamang sagot? Okay, how about letter D? The housing prices decline because fewer people need housing. So magbababa ba yung presyo kasi mas marami ang nangangailangan? Again, ano ba yung purpose ng mga firms or yung mga nagbibenta or mga supplier? Ano ba ang purpose nila kung bakit sila nagbi-business? 'Di ba? To earn profit. Ibig sabihin, kapag nakita nila na marami ang nagde-demand ng bahay, what do you think will happen? Bababaan ba nila yung presyo? Of course, tataasan nila yung presyo. They will grab that opportunity to increase the price. Bakit? Mataas ang demand. Marami ang nag-aagawan sa mga bahay. So kahit papataasan mo yan ng presyo, mayroon at mayroon pa rin bibili niyan. Kasi nga, mataas po yung demand. So, saan ba dyan ang nagsasabi na tataas yung presyo? Is it letter A, prices fall? Mali. How about letter C? Mali na yan kasi wala siyang tamang sagot daw. How about letter D? Prices decline. So, somehow similar lang siya sa nag-fall. So, meaning, only letter B ang nagsasabi na tataas daw yung presyo because demand exceeds supply. And that is our correct answer. If you can still remember the real estate boom na nangyari, di ba? Sobrang taas ng demand ng, let's say, taas ng housing market. Kasi nga, nag-boom yung ating economy, meaning marami ang trabaho, mataas ang mga sweldo. So, dahil nga tumaas ang demand, so anong ginawa ng mga supplier? Tinaasan nila yung presyo. So, that is letter B. And that's it for our letter C, the labor demand, the currency, as well as the housing. So now let us have the contemporary entrepreneurial issues. Ano ba yung mga contemporary issues na kinakaharap ng ating mga businessmen and women? So going back, ano nga yung contemporary? When we talk about contemporary, again, that is present or current. So what are the current issues or recent issues in which it affects the entrepreneur or our entrepreneurs or our businessmen and women? Okay, let us have question number 8. A small entrepreneur delays purchasing a new delivery vehicle after the bank increases its interest rates. Which explanation best support the decision? So analyze first the question. Sinasabi dito na mayroong isang businessman in which hindi muna niya tinuloy yung pagbili ng vehicle para sa kaniyang business. Kasi tumaas daw yung interest rates. Now, kapag tumaas ang interest rates, will the product be cheaper or more expensive? So pagtaas ang interest rate, meaning that is expensive. Mahal po yan. So ano ba ang do you think ang magiging desisyon ng ano ba yan? What do you think is the best explanation kung bakit yun yung naging desisyon ng small entrepreneur? So, ang desisyon niya is hindi muna bibili. So, bakit napunta siya sa ganyan na desisyon? Okay, letter A. Borrowing funds become more costly for the business owner. Tama ba? Somehow correct. Letter B. Business expansion becomes more attractive to investor. Oy, this is positive man. And then the question is somehow negative. Kasi hindi siya naka-purchase ng vehicle. Kasi nga mataas ang interest rate. So meaning that is negative. So pag negative yung decision, meaning dapat negative din yung somehow the answer should support the negativity of the what we call that the question. Next, letter C. The cost of financing investment becomes lower. Tumaas nga yung interest rate tapos bumaba yung financing investment. That is certainly wrong. How about letter D? Consumer spending automatically increases with higher interest rates. So, nandito naman po tayo sa isang word na nakapamali sa letter D. Ano ba ang word na yun? Again, that is automatically. So, kapag may nakita kayong mga ganyan na mga words, automatically, so, parang hindi siya somehow true always. So, that is wrong. So, consumer spending automatically increases with higher interest rate. So, tataas ba yung spending natin kapag tumaas yung interest rate? Of course, hindi na tayo mag-i-spend ng money. Bakit? Mahal yung interest rate. So, bakit pa tayo mag-i-spend ng maraming pera? Bakit pa tayo maglulustay ng maraming pera if we knew that the interest rate is very high? So, ano ba yung correct answer natin dito? Okay? So based on our analyzation and rationalization, that is letter A. Okay? Borrowing funds become more costly for business owner. Number 9, the government increases the minimum wage in a province, which challenge may small business face immediately. So, the government established na dapat daw taasan yung minimum wage ng mga workers sa province. Anong mangyayari? 'Di ba? Let us go back. So ano yung purpose ng mga business, 'di ba? To earn more profit. Now, kapag tumaas daw yung minimum salary, ibig sabihin, mas malaki yung babayaran nila na sweldo sa mga trabahante. So what would be the effect? Is it letter D? Sa D muna tayo. Higher profit because employee wages automatically increases sale? Huh? Nandito naman po tayo sa word na automatic. So automatically, wrong ka rin, letter D. How about letter C? Lower competition because more firms enter the market. Anong kinalaman ng competition dito? We are talking about the problem. So magkakaroon ba ng competition? Dahil marami ang mag-enter sa market, well, where in the first place, nahihirapan na nga po sila kasi kailangan nilang magbayad ng mas malaking sweldo. So of course, madi-discourage sila to enter the market. So that is already wrong. How about letter B? Reduced product demand due to higher household income. Paano naman tayo napunta dito? Ang question is just about what will happen if nagtaas yung minimum wage. So, sinabi ba dito na tataas, sinasabi ba dito na tataas din yung income ng household? Yes, probably tataas yung household income of the family. Kasi nga, tumaas yung minimum wage. So, pwede ba siya? So, tumaas yung income, so nagre-reduce na yung product. That is, somehow, ano ba sila? Opposite sila ng idea. Diba? One factor affecting or that could improve the demand of certain product is the income of the consumers. So, pag mataas yung income ng consumers, so dapat mataas din yung demand. So, sinabi dito, tumaas yung income ng household. Tapos, yung isa is, nagbaba daw yung demand. So, that is contrasting. Magkabaliktad po sila. Hindi sila nag-align. So, ibig sabihin, that is wrong. Okay? How about letter A? Increased operating costs due to higher labor expenses. So, of course, di ba, labor is considered as a factor of production. So, similar lang po sila ni operating cost. And that is our correct answer. Letter A. Again po, letter A po dapat ang sagot natin dito. Again ha, reminders, do not memorize this question. Just, you know what, copy or imitate the strategy of how I am answering the different na mga questions. Okay? Because this is not the actual. Hindi po to actual question. But then, ganito po yung structuring of the question as well as the choices. Okay, so let us now proceed to the principles of taxation. Okay, ano nga yung mga principles of taxation? We have, di ba, the first one is ability to pay, and then the benefits principle. Kapag benefits principle, sinasabi na kung nakakabenepisyo ka dito sa mga government project, then you have to pay the tax. How about the ability to pay? So the higher the salary or the higher your income, meaning mataas din yung babayaran mo na tax. So that is the different or the two na principles of taxation. Now, question number 10. A consumer purchases a smartphone and pays an additional amount identified as value-added tax. Which statement describes this tax? Ano ba yung value-added tax? O, sinabi ko na to sa inyo, di ba? That is 12%. So, ano ba yung value-added tax? Letter A, it is collected directly from personal income earned by the buyer. Personal income. So, meaning, that is not a VAT. That is an income tax. Next, letter B. It is imposed on property ownership and transfers. Ito ba yung definition ng VAT? Of course, this is not a VAT because this is a real estate tax. So this is a real property tax rather. So hindi po siya about sa product. How about letter C? It is charged on goods and services purchased by the consumer. So ito ba yung hinahanap nating sagot? Again, when we talk about VAT, ito yung mga tax which is binabayaran natin automatically when we purchase certain na mga product. Kaya nga kailangan natin yung original receipt para makita natin na nagbabayad po talaga tayo ng tax at kailangan itong ibalik sa gobyerno. So, is letter C correct? Yes, that is correct po. How about letter D? Let us check first letter D. It is deducted from the profits earned by corporation. So, if it is deducted from the profit, so that is no longer a VAT. That is already an income tax. Okay? So, ano pa yung mga tax na hindi natin na-discuss? So, going back, kapag sinabi nating VAT, it is the tax we paid once we bought certain na mga products. How about the income tax? Ito yung a direct tax in which automatic na dinideduct sa income ng mga workers. How about the excise tax? Ito yung hindi natin na-include. Ang excise tax, that is the tax that is paid by the producer. Yung mga gumagawa ng mga certain na mga product. So, nagbabayad po sila ng tax bago pa man sila gumawa or makagawa ng mga produkto na iyan. That is an excise tax. How about the other one, the VAT? Diba? That we have the income, the VAT, and the excise tax. And the real estate tax pala. Yung real estate is ito yung binabayaran natin if we have this certain mga properties. Kapag mas malaking property, mas mataas yung babayaran natin. Kapag concrete yung mga bahay natin, mas mataas po ang tax natin kaysa dun sa mga bahay na gawa lamang sa kahoy. How about the other one, the community tax, o yung tinatawag po natin na sedula. Punitin ng sedula according to Andres Bonifacio. That is a community tax. Nagbabayad po tayo diyan. Okay, number 11. Two employees earn different salaries and the employee with a higher income pays larger amount of tax. Which principle of taxation is illustrated? So sinasabi dito na kapag mataas daw yung income or salary, mas mataas daw yung babayaran na tax. Ano bang principle yan? Of course, that is principle of ability to pay principle. Tingnan niyo po yung choices. Meron po ba dyan ability to pay principle? Hala, wala man sir. But if you are going to carefully take a look at our choices and then you analyze, mayroon po diyang nagpapanggap na maling sagot, but tama po talaga siya. Diba? Under the ability to pay principle, meron po tayong dalawang principle. The equity principles, the horizontal and the vertical equity. So, ang horizontal equity, sinasabi, people in the same situation should pay the same tax. While, vertical equity, sinasabi dito, na kapag mataas ang sweldo o mataas ang income ng isa, mas mataas po yung babayaran niya na tax. So, saan ba dyan yung nagsasabi? O equity. Saan ba dyan yung equity? Only letter A ang nagsasabi na equity in tax burden distribution. Ibig sabihin, hindi po pantay-pantay ang taxes natin kapag hindi naman pantay-pantay yung ating sweldo. So, that is letter A. Okay. Ganyan po dapat ang pag-a-analyze ng mga question. Number 12. A business owner pays taxes before the deadline to avoid additional charges which characteristic of taxation is being observed. So sinasabi po dito na nagbabayad po sila ng tax bago pa man ang deadline kasi natatakot silang makabayad ng additional charges due to, ano yung mga tawag dyan? Penalties. Di ba? Mayroon pong mga penalties kapag late po tayo nagbabayad ng tax. So ano ba yung, ano bang principle ito? Sige, balikan natin letter A, equity. So, automatically, mali na po yan. Kasi nasagot na natin yan sa previous na question. Next, certainty regarding tax obligation. Pwede. Next, flexibility in determining tax rate. So, we are not determining the tax rate. Hindi po sinasabi sa question na ilan ba yung tax na babayaran ng mga individual. So, we're not talking about that one already. So, what we're talking about is it is more on your responsibility. Responsibility to pay your tax on time or ahead of time. How about letter D? Uniformity in government spending. Na masyado pong malayo. So, ano ba yung isasagot natin dyan? So, if you're going to analyze the situation and then the choices, then you can say that the answer is letter B rather. Certainty regarding tax obligation. That is our responsibility to pay. Responsibilidad po natin na magbayad tayo ng buwis sa tamang oras o sa tamang araw. So, saan ba dyan yung somehow you are, somehow, kailangan mo talagang magbayad because that is your responsibility. So, that is your obligation. So, saan ba dyan na nasasabi na obligasyon po natin na magbayad tayo ng tax on time? Only letter B. So, ano ang tamang sagot? That is letter B po. Baboy. Next question. The government imposes a special tax on sugary beverages to discourage excessive consumption and generate public revenue. What is the primary purpose of this type of tax? So, tinaasan daw po nila yung mga tax on mga sugary beverages or yung mga matatamis na mga inumin. So, the purpose is to discourage para hindi po masyadong marami ang inumin o ikonsumo ng mga tao sa mga ganitong klase ng mga inumin. And also, to generate public revenue. So, that is the purpose. So, parang nagiging mask lang yun to protect. Nagiging maskara yung to protect the health of people sa the main purpose talaga ng mga tax, which is, of course, to raise public revenue. So, ano ba yung purpose ng tax na ito? Or what is the purpose of the tax? Is it letter A, to reduce import and increase exports? So, natalakay ba natin dito ang international trade? Letter B, to encourage firms to hire more workers. We are no longer talking about the laborer. Pero kapag tumaas ba yung tax ng ganitong mga produkto, ibig sabihin ba, kakailanganin nila ng mas maraming laborer? Of course, it's quite the opposite. So since taas ang tax, anong gagawin nila? Kailangan nilang magbawas ng mga trabahante. Letter C, to influence consumer behavior while raising government revenue. Okay, somehow correct. And then letter D, to increase competition among local producers. Yes, it is true that the government is encouraging competition among the firms because it will benefit the consumers. Diba? Pag mayroong competition, magpapababaan sila ng presyo. So, pag mababa yung presyo, so yun yung makikinabang. That is actually the consumer. But we are not talking about that one. In the question is the purpose of the tax. So, actually, naka-paraphrase lang po yung sagot. Di ba? Discourage excessive consumption o to influence consumer behavior while raising government public revenue. So, paraphrase lang po ang sagot. And that is letter C. Okay, next question. Okay, so those are the things that we have tackled under the taxes or the principles of taxation. Now, let us proceed to the product and services of business and industry. Ano yung mga produkto at ibang-ibang mga serbisyo na ino-offer ng mga different businesses and industry. Okay. 14. A furniture manufacturer produces tables while a delivery company transport packages from one location to another. Which statement correctly distinguishes their outputs? Okay. So ano ba yung pagkakaiba ng mga output nila? So you're just going to identify ano ba yung output ni furniture? Ano ba yung output ni delivery company? So tingnan natin. Letter A, both firms primarily provide tangible product. Tangible ba yung transportation? Based on our discussion earlier, di ba? It is a form of service, meaning that is intangible po si transportation. Letter B, both firms primarily provide intangible services. Uy, ang kama, hindi ba natin nahahawakan? Of course, nahahawakan po natin yung mga furniture or tables. That is a tangible. So meaning, mali rin po si letter B. How about letter C? The manufacturer provides product while delivery company provides services. Tama ba yan? Or letter D, manufacturer provides services while the delivery company provides product. So alin ba ang tama, C or D? Now, I will going to remind you kapag sinabi nating product, it is physical, tangible, nahahawakan, and is manufactured. Ano yung manufactured? Ginagawa. So meaning, may mga company na gumagawa, so meaning, meron ding final output, which is tangible, nahahawakan. So meaning, hindi po siya service. So alin ba dyan na masasabi na product yung furniture? Sige, letter C, manufacturer provides product. Okay, that is correct. How about the second one? The delivery company provides services. Of course, transportation. Transportation, that is intangible. So pag hindi po siya nahawakan, we are offering our skill. Ano ba yung skill natin? The driving skill. So, that is a form of service. So ano ba ang tamang sagot? That is letter C. Letter C po ang ating tamang sagot. Number 15. Sige, number 15. Halfway through. Why is it important for consumers to distinguish between product and services offered by businesses? So bakit ba kailangan daw malaman ng mga tao ang pagkakaiba ng mga produkto at serbisyo na ino-offer ng mga businesses? Sige. Letter A, to determine whether taxes apply to transaction. Pwede ba to? Letter B, to better evaluate the value and nature of their purchases. Of course, somehow correct. Letter C, to reduce the number of competitors in the market. So this is more on the consumer's point of view. So hindi po siya sa mga firms or sa mga businesses. So X na si letter C. How about letter D? To ensure business earn equal levels of profit. So is that the purpose of identifying the different services and product of the certain na mga businesses? That is wrong. Ano naman? Kahit ano pang sabihin natin, hindi po magiging equal kailanman ang mga profit. Especially kapag they are serving different na mga product and services. So product and service, sumakaiba po yung profit ng dalawang yan. So hindi po siya magiging equal. Not unless sasadyain talaga na i-equal ng mga tao. So if we're going to assess this one in real life, so medyo imposible po si letter D. So ano po ang tamang sagot natin? Letter B, sir, kay taas. Be careful with that one because not all the time yung matataas na sagot ay ang tama. But at this point, on this case, so our answer is letter B, yung pinakamataas po. Dahil siya lang po yung nasasabi na to better evaluate the value and nature of their purchases. Para malaman po natin kung ano yung value na kapag bibilhin po natin ang mga produkto na ito. Or if we are going to subscribe to their service. Subscribe, YouTube. Now we are down to our chapter 4. The first one is the 5 forces analysis. So, sino ba ang nag-introduce nito? Diba? Si Uncle Linyo, William ba yun? Michael E. Porter. Sorry for that one. Again, sino yung nag-introduce? Si Uncle Michael E. Porter. Okay, so let us proceed to the question. So several milk tea shops operate along the same street and compete for the same customers, which force competition is most evident. Uy, very easy. 'Di ba ano nga yung mga factors? 5 factors na na-identify ni Michael Porter. The first one, competitive rivalry. The second one, the bargaining power of consumers. 3, bargaining power of the suppliers. 4, threat of new entry. 5, the threat of substitute product and services. So alin ba dito sa limang ito ang nasasabi na they are competing for the same customer? So ano ba dyan? Competition. Of course, that is letter C po, competitive rivalry among firms. Klarong-klaro. Dahil they are competing over the same customer kasi doon sila nagbebenta in a place where they are selling same or similar na mga product. So they have no choice but to compete with each other. So they are competing for that same na mga customer. So that is competitive rivalry among firms. Okay. Next. Uy. A bakery depends on only one supplier for a special type of flour that is difficult to obtain elsewhere. Which force is most significant? Diba somehow familiar sa ating market of structure. So mayroon daw supplier na siya lang daw po yung nagsusupply ng special type of flour. Sa kanya lang daw po mabibili ang uri ng harina na ito. So ano ba ang ano bang force na ito? Ano bang factor or force na ito? Is it letter A, threat of new market entrance? B, bargaining power of suppliers? C, competitive rivalry among retailers? Or letter D, threat of substitute? Di ba? So ibig sabihin, sa kanya lang daw makakabili ng ganitong uri ng harina. So there is a monopoly. Meaning, siya yung makakakontrol sa presyo. So what will happen? Of course, kapag mahirap hanapin yung mga produkto na yan, for example, at this question, is that certain na harina or flour, mahihirapan po yung ibang business to enter that certain na market. Ibig sabihin, makaka-epekto ito sa entry of new markets dahil mahihirapan po sila pumasok sa market kasi mahirap po hanapin ang certain na harina na kakailanganin nila sa produkto na ito. So, ibig sabihin, hindi po agad-agad sila makakapasok sa market. So, meaning, our correct answer is letter A po ang tamang sagot. Okay, so let us now proceed to the business opportunities in industry. Kulang ng letter S. That is industries. Okay. So, let us have number 18. A community produces large quantities of bananas but has few facilities for processing them into other product. Which opportunity best addresses the situation? So sinasabi po dito na marami daw po silang mga saging. The problem is that kaunti lang o maliit lang yung pasilidad nila kung saan nila ilalagay ang kanilang mga naani na saging. So ano ba ang what best opportunity pwede natin gamitin para ma-address ang situation na ito? Is it letter A, establishing a banana processing enterprise? Letter B, expanding imported food distribution channels? Letter C, increasing purchases of foreign agricultural products. So obvious na obvious. Di ba sinabi ko kanina? Not all the time. Yung mga mas mahaba ang sagot is the correct answer. Because in this case, mali po sa letter C. We are not talking about foreign agricultural product. So malayong-malayo po siya sa ating, let us say, question. So automatically, we are going to eliminate letter C. So we have A, B, and D na lang. Let us read first letter D. Reducing agricultural production in the locality. So, kailangan ba nating, since marami daw yung saging, so ang gagawin natin is, kukuntian na lang natin yung production of banana. Yan ba yung magiging best solution? That is very negative. Hindi po siya makakatulong sa problema. So that is, letter D is ENC. So, letters A and B na lang po tayo. Letter A, sinasabi, we can establish a banana processing enterprise. Letter B, sinasabi din, expanding imported food distribution channel. Imported. So, bakit tayo mag-i-import? We are rich in banana. So, in that sense pa lang, there is something wrong now with letter B. Diba? We are not stating here international trade. Actually, this is on the local. Diba? Sinasabi lang dito na ang problema is konti lang yung pasilidad na paglalagyan ng mga saging. So, since maliit yung facility, so what will you do? So, you can have letter A. You can establish a banana processing enterprise. Kagaya ng, let us say, banana chips. Diba? Pinaprocess nila yung banana to create new product. Since wala silang mapaglalagyan, why not transform them into other na mga product in which mabibenta nila? That is additional profit for the farmers of banana. Another one, banana cake. Mag-bake sila banana cake. So, nasolve lang ang problema sa mga, nasolve lang ang problema sa kadagan sa ilang saging. So, makastore silang saging. So, ang sobrang dili mabutang sa storage, they can use that into other nga mga products. Diba? Intermediate nga mga goods. Let us have number 19. A province experiences a steady increase in tourists every year. Which service sector opportunity is most promising? So, nagkakaroon daw po ng increase yung padami, steady daw yung pagdami ng mga turista sa isang lugar, sa isang probinsya. So, ano ba ang magiging maganda ang opportunity? Anong sector ba ang makaka-offer ng magandang opportunity based on the situation? A. Opening additional accommodation and tour services. Letter B. Expanding mining operations in remote areas. So, bakit sila ng mining? Where in fact, nakakasira sa nature, as well as hindi naman yan yung pinupunta ng mga tourists. So, letter B, wrong na kaagad. Letter C, constructing additional manufacturing plants. Are we talking about manufacturing? Are we talking about here products? No, we are not. Since it is a tourist. So, meaning, kailangan po ng mga tourist guide. And that is a form of service. So, meaning, we are not manufacturing plants. We are not making plants. So, say connect. Wala po siyang connection. So, that is, eliminate letter C. Next, letter D. Increasing imports of industrial machinery. Aanin niyo po yung machines. We are talking about tourists. So, meaning, letter D is, ligwak ganern. So, the correct answer is, letter A. Siya lang ninyong nasasabi na, opening additional accommodation and tour services. So, meaning, pag maraming turista, it will be a good opportunity sa mga tourist guides offering mga tour services. That is letter A. Next, number 20. A business owner wants to enter a highly competitive food processing industry. Which factors should be carefully analyzed before investing? So, gusto daw po niya na pumasok sa isang business in which it is a food processing industry. But what is the factor that she needs or he needs to consider, carefully analyze before siya mag-invest? Is it letter A? Availability of resources and market. Correct. Letter B, personal preference for product design only. Ganito, pag may mga words na only, always true. So, that is wrong na kaagad. That is a negative. Only. So, that is wrong. Kapag may nakita kayo sa mga choices na only, so automatically, eliminate na yan. Next, competitors advertising colors and logos only. So, may word pa rin na only. So, B and C is ligwak ganern. How about letter C? Letter D, size of office space used by rival businesses. Hindi ka pa nga nakapag-establish ng business, you're planning pa lang. So makikipag-compete ka na agad, titingnan mo na agad kung malaki ba yung space na inuukupa ng iyong kakumpetensya? No, that is not necessary. So ano ba ang tamang sagot? Very obvious, that is letter C. Kasi letter D, personal preference, ikaw malipalit sa mga produkto, ma'am. If you're going to consider your personal preference over the preference of your customers. Okay, let us now have the SWOT analysis. So malapit na po tayong matapos. This is very easy. Okay, a small restaurant has loyal customer but frequently experiences delays in preparing orders because it has too few workers. In SWOT analysis, how should this factor be classified? Anong factor ba ito? Is it strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat? Before you answer, remember, di ba, the SWOT analysis is subdivided into two categories. Internal factors and external factors. So, ano ba yung mga internal factors? Di ba? The strength and then weakness. The external factors, on the other hand, is the weakness and the threat. Okay. So, bakit kailangan i-identify po muna natin kung internal ba siya or external factors? Because if you are able to identify if that is an external or internal na factor, dalawa na lang yung choices na pagpipilian mo. Diba? You can automatically eliminate the two. So, nga lang inyong teknika pag mag-answer mo sa ing-ani nga questions as what? Okay. So, let us analyze first the STEM. So it is stated here, a small business restaurant has loyal customers but frequently experiences delays. So bakit ba nagkakaroon ng delay? So, it is stated here because it has few workers. So, maliit daw lang yung workers. Konti lang yung workers. So, ibig sabihin, kapag makonti lang yung workers mo, ibig sabihin, bagal din yung service. So what will you do? Of course, you need to hire more workers. And that is beyond your control as the owner. That is not beyond. That is in your control. Diba? You can control the number of the workers that you can hire. Since that is a controllable na factor, you can control that one. That is inside the business factor. Meaning, you can control. Diba makakontrol ka kung pilay mo ang i-hire? So is it internal or external? Of course, that is internal. Bakit internal siya, sir? Kasi, nakukontrol mo siya. Whereas external factors, those are the factors outside the business in which beyond your control. You cannot control it. So since this ones, you can control this because it is only inside the business factor. So that is internal. So pag internal, dalawa na lang pagpipilian natin. That is strength and opportunity. Now, is the question positive or negative ang epekto sa consumer? Since nadidelay sila sa pag-order nila kasi nga mahibagal yung serbisyo, that is a negative nga impact. So pag negative siya, unsa man siya, is it strength or weakness? Of course, that is weakness. That is the disadvantage. Yan yung mga disadvantage mo over the competing na mga firms or mga businesses. So that is your weakness. That is your disadvantage. Disadvantage mo siya kasi dahil sa konti lang yung workers mo, nadidelay nito ang fast service na kinakailangan ng mga customer. Sabtan? Okay. Substance. 22. Same ragyapon. A local clothing business notices that more consumers are becoming interested in environmentally friendly products. In SWOT analysis, this is classified as A, strength, B, opportunity, C, weakness, D, threat. Okay. So, the STEM or the question says that the preference of the customers has changed. They now preferred mga environmentally friendly product. So, makontrol ba nimo ang gusto sa mga tao? No. You cannot control the preferences of your customer. So, is it internal or external? That is That is external. Very good. So pag external factor, dalawa na lang din yung pagpipilian. Could either be threat or opportunity. Now, if you are going to analyze, so you are able to identify that the customers are now shifting to environmentally product. So is it a threat? Threat ba siya sa'yo? No, it's not a threat because anyone can create environmentally friendly na mga product. In fact, it could be an opportunity for you to create products which are environmentally friendly. So it will be an opportunity kapag it has become an opportunity because you have learned that the people or the customers are shifting to that certain kind na mga product. Since nalaman mo na yun yung mga preferred na nila, so it will be an opportunity for you to create a product na environmentally friendly. So it has become an opportunity for you to earn more. Again, that is opportunity. Next, number 23. A local bakery faced declining sales because several foreign brands are offering similar product at lower prices. Which SWOT element does this represent? So, unsa man ang main idea lang yun. So, the main idea is that there are other nga mga businesses offering the same product that you are selling. So, meaning, there is a competition. Now, in our discussion, competition, nabilong siya. Asa siya nabilong? Nabilong siya sa external factor. Is it a positive or negative external? That is negative external factors because nagka-compete. If there is a competition, ibig sabihin, bababa ang profit. So is it an opportunity or a threat? That is actually a threat. I hope nagkakaintindihan po tayo. So if my discussion is quite fast, so please bear with it, and then you can pause the video, or you can slow it down using different apps. Okay, number 24. Down to our 6 items, last 6 items. So a restaurant has received, 7 pa pala. A restaurant has received repeated complaints about slow service despite having good food and a strong reputation. Which recommendation is most appropriate? So, nagkakaroon daw ng problema ang isang restaurant kasi nagkakaroon sila ng maraming complaints. Bakit? Slow daw yung service. Yung order nila inaabot ng 10 minutes bago ma-serve. Tapos gutom na yung mga customer. So, that is why nagre-reklamo sila. Kahit nasabihin na masarap po yung food ninyo, masarap, maganda yung reputation, you have already built a reputation, good reputation in your company. But then, because of that service, naaapektuhan yung entirety ng inyong business. So, ano ba ang pwede mong i-recommend? Or which recommendation is most appropriate? Is it letter A, focus only on advertising campaigns? We are not having problems, diba, on the brand? Kasi nga, naka-establish na siya ng good reputation. Letter B, improve service efficiency while maintaining product quality. Taas, yes sir. Probably correct. Letter C, increase menu prices regardless of customer feedback. So, ang food ba ang problema? Hindi po ate. So, ano ba yung problema? The service. So, letter C, ano bang kinalaman niya? Should you add more menu? Kahit hindi naman yun yung problema? No, that is not the practical recommendation. How about letter D? Expand operations without addressing service problem. Without addressing. So, mag-expand ka raw kahit hindi mo pa na-solve yung problem mo. So, is that a good recommendation? Hindi po. So, it's wrong. So, ano ba yung problema? Diba the problem is the service? So, what will you do? You need to improve the service efficiency while maintaining product quality. So, that is letter B. Do you copy? I hope so. Now, we are down to our top 2 na mga
coverage, the pest analysis, and then after this one we will have what we call that, the chapter 5, which is socio-economic impact study. So number 25, the government introduces a stricter environmental regulations that require factories to reduce pollution. Which pest factor is involved? Sir, government. Nga lang gimension mo, mo si government. Because government is our major clue. So, alin ba dyan ang government? Is it social, economic, political, or technological? Of course, that is government. That is political. So, our answer is letter C. Okay. Number 26. More customers are using mobile application and online platforms to purchase product. Which factor does this best represent? Ano ba yung mga application? Ano ba yung mga online platforms in which you can sell or buy the product? Shopee, Lazada, TikTok, Alibaba, sa patong isa tong scammer. Temu. O, di ba? Those are example of economic, technological, political, environmental. That is letter B, technology. So that is technological factor. Okay, technological po yan. Diba, nasa example din natin, the way of selling your product. It should be somehow pwede siya makasabay sa mga trend. And the trend nowadays is, ano yung trend natin? Diba? Online, e-commerce. So, nabilong po siya sa technological factor. Next, number 27, rising inflation. 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 Saan ba natin maa-associate yung inflation? So, rising inflation increases the cost of raw materials used by a local manufacturing company. Which pest factor does this illustrate? Inflation. Saan ba natin maa-associate sa inflation? Is it technological, social, political, or economic? Okay. Kung wa pa ka-answer, ani, I will remind you or I will going to I will going to advise you to go back to our first chapter. Balik yung chapter 1 pagyapon ka kabaloon sa answer, ani. Because inflation, of course, that is related to economic. So that is letter A, economic factor. Okay, so that includes the pest analysis. So now let us have the socioeconomic factors affecting business and industry. This is the last coverage for our midterm examination. Question number 28. A community experiences a rise in unemployment. Which effect is most likely to occur among local businesses? So, ano na yung magiging epekto kapag marami po o tumaas po yung unemployment rate o mas dumadami yung mga tao na walang trabaho? So, what is the effect on the market or on the business? A. Increased consumer spending. Nagkakaroon na nga ng unemployment, tataas pa yung spending. That is letter A is wrong na agad. Letter B, let us analyze directly na kay para mas hapit na ang time mo. It's already time 23. So, ako ang time sa inyo is 80 lang. So, 6, nalapas na ta. Overtime na tagamay. Next, reduce demand for many non-essential products. So, bababa daw yung ang demand ng mga non-essential. Ano yung mga non-essential? Mga bagay na hindi naman masyadong kailangan o hindi talaga kinakailangan. For example, luxury bags. Kailangan na ba natin ng luxury bags? Can we not survive kapag walang luxury bags? Of course, no. We can survive without luxury bags. So meaning, bababa daw po yung mga demand ng mga non-essential products. Okay. Letter C, higher demand for luxury product. Nawala na nga ng trabaho, tataas pa yung demand ng luxury product. O sige, palit ta og bag, kaulo na ito na pag-abot sa balay. Ingana gurang ilahang sistema. That is wrong. How about letter D? Increased purchasing. Paano mag-i-increase yung purchasing? Inawalan nga ng trabaho. So, among the choices, ano lang ba yung tamang sagot? That is, letter B po. Reduce the demand for many non-essential products. Okay. Number 299. A municipality improve its roads and transportation system, reducing delivery time between cities. How does this affect business? So, inaayos daw po yun o inu-improve yung mga daanan. Meaning, kapag naayos yung mga kalye, mga daanan, mga highway, mga tulay, so, mas madali daw po o nababawasan na yung delivery time. Ibig sabihin, mas mabilis makakarating yung mga produkto na pinapatransport ninyo. So, ano ba magiging epekto nito sa business? Is it letter A? It increases the distribution, efficiency, and market access. Oh, by the way, the question is positive. So, we are also looking for a positive na result. Letter B, it decreases product availability in local market. Is it positive or negative? Very negative. So, X na sa letter B. How about letter C? Letter C, it reduces opportunities for businesses expansion. Uy, nagre-reduce na yung opportunity. Well, in fact, it will create more opportunity kapag maganda po yung mga kalsada. So, obviously, letter C is wrong. How about letter D? It limits the movement of goods and services. Nalilimitahan po ba kapag maayos yung mga kalsada? Oh, that is the opposite. So, dapat, mas magaganda yung movement of goods and services. Kasi nga, maayos na yung kalsada. So, alam lang ba dyan yung positive? Only letter A lang po yung positive dyan. And that is our correct answer. Next, the last item for our review. Number 30. A municipality experiences a significant increase in population. Which businesses response is most appropriate? So, yung municipality daw po is nagkakaroon ng mataas daw po yung population. So, ano ba ang magiging respond ng mga business dito kapag tumaas yung population? Is it letter A, reduce production because competition may increase? Tumaas nga yung population, so babawasan mo pa yung production mo? Dili siya pwede. Letter B, ignore demographic o term na ignore. Parang nga ang mga word, mga negative, automatic na sila ng mga wrong. But let us continue reading, basin tayo tama. Ignore demographic changes and maintain the same operation. So, wala lang. Kung anong managan sila, so wala lang kay buhaton. So, you are disregarding that demographic change. Okay. Letter C, assess potential increase in consumer demand. Uy, you're going to assess, this is a potential naman. The higher the population, the higher the demand. Meaning, it is a potential increase in demand. So, you're going to assess that one. That is a potential. Potential to help you improve your business and to earn more profit. Okay? So, pwede sa letter C. How about letter D? Avoid expanding. The term avoid is negative. Very negative. Okay, so avoid expanding because population growth creates uncertainty. So, hindi naman po nagsasabi na mayroong uncertainty dito. Paano magkakaroon ng uncertainty? So, kapag nag-expand ka, so automatically, makaka-earn ka talaga. Bakit? Marami kasi yung population, mataas yung population. So, you can earn. So, why hesitate? So, meaning, wrong din sa letter D. So, the answer is letter C. Okay? Again, the answer is letter C. And that concludes our review session for the midterm examination. I do hope that you have learned something from our discussion sa atong review session. So, please prepare, please study, and most importantly, please pray. Pray and pray. So, that would be all. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.